Hey, welcome to my channel. So today, DJI released the Mavic Air. Pretty cool drone. Falls someplace between the Spark and the Mavic Pro. Why does it fall between these two? Well, because of price point. So when DJI makes drones, they don't just make them because, hey, let's make this, let's make that. They basically work on a price point and work backwards. And right now the price point for a Spark used to be $499, but they're selling it at around $399. And the price point for a Mavic is about $999. So at $799, the DJI Mavic Air fits nicely in the middle. All right, so what's great about the DJI Mavic Air? Why is it so great? And what's not so great about it? Well, I'm going to tell you. Here we go. I'll start off with all the great things about the Mavic Air. First off, it's foldable. All drones from DJI, at least moving towards the future, are probably going to be foldable in one way or another because everybody wants portability. The Mavic Air's camera is pretty decent. It has a nice 3-axis gimbal, whereas on the Spark, you only have a 2-axis gimbal. The Mavic has a 3-axis gimbal, but it's really fragile. You can really damage this. The camera on the Mavic Air is a 4K camera. Beautiful 4K resolution, and it's got an 85-degree field of view. So what does that mean? Well, let me just show you. The Mavic has a 4K camera, except the field of view is rather narrow. Well, at least more narrow than that of the new DJI Mavic Air. So when you film with this here Mavic, you probably notice that objects appear a little closer than when you film with a Phantom or a Spark. But the really cool thing with the Mavic Air camera is that it can capture video at 4K at 100 megabits per second, and also capture video at 1080p at 120 frames per second. Both of those are really good. Neither of these drones could do that. The Mavic Air also has really good sensors because it puts sensors in the front and sensors in the rear and sensors on the bottom, whereas other drones like the Spark only has sensors in the front and the bottom, and the Mavic only has sensors in the front and the bottom. But the most amazing thing with the Mavic Air sensors is something I've been waiting for a long time from DJI, and they now finally have it. They have this really cool system called the Advanced Pilot Awareness System. So basically that's an autonomous system that the Mavic Air is going to use its own internal intelligence to figure out stuff. So in other words, when your Mavic Air is flying and it comes upon an obstacle, it's going to go around it, above it, below it, any way it sees fit, and it's going to carry on in that direction. No matter if you're pushing the controller forward, sideways, or whatnot. Now I'm sure in 2018 you've seen one other company with a drone that does exactly the same thing. Who could that be? Well, that was Autel with their Evo drone that looks just like a Mavic. That is the capability of that drone. So now here we have the Mavic Air, which costs much less than that drone and has a camera that can do pretty much the same thing. So you see where DJI is going with this? They're trying to undercut the competition quickly, as they always do, and they do a really good job at it. And now the flight range of the Mavic Air with the transmitter. How far could you fly it, still receive video signal, and still be able to control the drone? Well, if you go by DJI, they say a Spark will fly under 2,000 meters. A Mavic Pro will fly up to about 7,000 meters. So they stuck the Mavic Air sort of in between, and they set it at 4,000 meters. I think DJI basically purposely set it at that range. It probably could do 7,000 meters, but they thought it was best due to its size, and maybe they keep it at only 4,000 meters. And the speed of the Mavic Air, well, it's much faster than a Spark, and it's even faster than a Mavic Pro. And my last comment about what's so great about the Mavic Air, well, it's going to be the weight. Just consider this. A Spark weighs 300 grams. Well, the Mavic Air weighs 430 grams. That's only 130 grams more than the Spark. And it does so much more and contains so much more technology. When you look at the Mavic Pro, that's up there at 730 grams. So pretty decent job, DJI. Okay, so now I get into the part of this video where I'm going to tell you what's not so great about the Mavic Air. First off, every picture I've seen of the Mavic Air in demos and other people holding it, it looks really plasticky. It's not as refined as the Mavic Pro. The Mavic Pro has really sleek features on it, and just the way the metal is integrated with the plastic, it's really nice, really nicely made. But I guess when you're trying to keep the price down and make a profit, you're gonna have to make everything out of plastic eventually. Next thing not so great about the Mavic Air, in my opinion, are the props. You see the Mavic Pro, the props are foldable. You see the Spark, the props are foldable. Well, on the Mavic Air, they're not foldable. They are solid props. In my experience of flying drones, when you have props that are solid, you have more chance of nicking the ends, breaking the ends, so you're probably going to replace the props a bit more than you would had they been foldable. Another thing not so great about the Mavic Air, in my opinion, is that DJI has had all this time to advance the sensor in the drones. Well, the sensor in the Mavic Air is the same sensor that's in the Spark, and it's the same sensor in the Mavic Pro. It's that tiny little CMOS sensor. Certainly with technology and processors, you can pull more out of it, but you're still stuck with the same dynamic range. And that's why the camera only has an ISO of 100 to 3200. It hasn't changed at all. And here's a few more items that I thought were pretty interesting about the Mavic Air. DJI has added new features within the gesture controls. So now if your Mavic Air is on the ground, you can actually make it take off just by the movement of your hand. Of course, you power it on first, then do your hand movements, make sure the camera's looking at you. It's great up to about 19 feet according to the website, and DJI has released 2 new quick shots for the Mavic Air, and I'm pretty sure those quick shots are going to make their way into the Spark and the Mavic Pro in the near future. So the 2 new quick shots are Asteroid and Boomerang. The Mavic Air also has 2 panel modes. You have the 180 and the Sphere mode. Apparently DJI has improved the active track in the Mavic Air, so it will track up to 16 objects and focus in on the one you want. They also have the good old tap to fly, and there's also the option of an HDR photo mode, which I don't know why DJI actually promotes, because you really need a good sensor for that to work. And that's why anybody who has tried HDR on the Spark, on the Mavic Pro, well, it's not that great. And finally, to answer the question that's on everybody's mind, yes, I still believe DJI in the year 2018 is going to release the Mavic Pro 2. So there you go. That's the Mavic Air that DJI released today. And now you're asking, is it better than the Spark? Well, of course it is. Is it better than the existing Mavic Pro or the Mavic Pro Platinum? Well, of course it is. However, it depends what you're looking for. So right now, today, if you had to buy one of those 3 drones and you just wanted a drone to fly around and have fun and take pictures, of course you're going to buy the Spark because it has the best bang for the buck. And if you want a drone that has a long range, you're going to buy the Mavic Pro or the Mavic Pro Platinum. However, if you want a drone that has the best of all the features and won't be updated for another year and a half, well, then you're going to get the Mavic Air. All right, so with all that said, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.